Welcome on in, guys, to yet another The Fairway Files podcast. I'm joined by Bradley and Jacob, presented by Three Bold Takes. Guys, if you haven't already, go subscribe to Three Bold Takes. And here, this channel is strictly golf related. Today, we are talking about the Charles Schwab Challenge. I love saying that name. Emiliano Grillo, Gramino. I don't really know. Never heard of this cat, by the way. But he did win in a 2-hole playoff against Adam Schenck for his first win in 8 years. So kind of huge stuff there. He almost gave it away at the end, but we're going to get into it. We're going to kind of talk about some things that we noticed and then kind of wrap it up from there. Congratulations, by the way, winner of $1.5 million. Wow. And he almost shot himself out of that. So, guys, Bradley, let's go ahead and kick it over to you first. You're on the left side of the screen here. What stuck out to you? What are some takeaways here from this Charles Schwab?
Well, first of all, I don't know if this is the first time it's ever happened, but somebody double bogeyed 18 and won a golf tournament. That is usually never in the same sentence, but yeah, some things that stuck out to me. Shank, or however you say his last name, had two different single putts to seal the tournament. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't imagine the pressure that he was under.
From similar spots, too.
Almost the dang same spots. But what a tournament. I mean, this one came down to the wire. You know, we were texting back and forth. You said 10 under was the number. Jacob said 9 under. I didn't say a number. I just said it would be a playoff. And, but great tournament, very entertaining. Jacob, you got anything you want to say?
No, I mean, you hit exactly what I was talking about. Shank had 2 putts, inches to the right or to the left, and he wins his first tournament on the PGA Tour. Like you said, Grillo, however you say it, don't grill us for not pronouncing names right. I'm very, yeah. And just putting. The greens were very firm today and really have been the whole tournament. It's very hard to get shots to stop, and very interesting because I'm just going to say Emiliano. Emiliano had been in 2 previous playoffs before, so he kind of had some experience with that. Lost one and won one. Schenck, this was his first. So, that kind of puts it into perspective for him. They showed Schenk's family, had his wife and his 1-month-old son. Another thing that kind of stuck out, inches, like a game of inches when it comes down to it, because, Emiliano's shot on 16 in the playoff. If it's 2 inches to the right, it's in the bunker, and we're talking about something different. It could have ended very differently. And then Schenck had 2 opportunities, one in regulation, you could say, and one in the playoff to win. But it's kind of weird to think about, because usually, top players on the last day, they're going to shoot even, 1 under, 2 under, like kind of just try to play it safe and play for the win. Well, today, who was Harry Hall? He was 12 under going into the final round, and he had a bogey on the last. Yeah, he may have been. Yeah, you're right. He got up to 12 with 2 birdies to start out. But he had an unfortunate drive in 18 that went into the water. That kind of caused him to get knocked out of it after a bogey on the last hole. And then just another thing, I think we got to talk about number 1 player in the world, Scotty Scheffler. Greens to tees. He was top of the field, but just he could not putt. He had multiple missed birdie putts today alone, just in the first few holes, and the whole tournament. I feel like if he was able to putt, I think he's dominant. Like PGA Tour, 2K21 career, winning by a couple of strokes easily. So very interesting to see going forward if he can kind of get that more figured out. He said after he was kind of getting more in tone and was confident in his putting, method and routine and everything. He's just got to dial it up. Freddie, what's your thoughts?
I mean, you guys pretty much hit everything. I do want to mention Harry Hall here. I know we spent a lot of time talking about the top two that were in the playoff, as we should. But Harry Hall with a final round 73, 3 over par. He was the leader from Thursday until the 71st hole, or 70th hole, we'll say. And very sad scenes there. He was somebody that all week had played well up until the weekend. I mean, you can't go 5 over par on the weekend and expect to win a golf tournament. I don't care if this is the Open or if it's the Charles Schwab. So Harry Hall, amazing young player. He's won twice on the Korn Ferry Tour. I don't doubt that we're going to see him again. He is a rookie. He also had a top 5 this year in one of the earlier tournaments on the West Coast swing. So huge deal there. And then you mentioned Scheffler, Jacob. He was 71st out of 72 that made the cut in putting. And he still was 7 under par for the tournament and came in third. So if you could just imagine where he would be if he was 30th, he may have won this thing by 5 shots. His putting over the course of the past year and a half has been lackluster. I think that's needless to say. But from tee to green, man, he's unreal. Striping the ball. I mean, for somebody that has such a unique swing as far as the feet go, I mean, he just absolutely destroys a golf ball. So those are my kind of takeaways. I also want to mention Ricky Fowler with a tied 6th. That's he's getting there, son. He's made some very good progress. He's kind of changed his swing up a little bit. And one of the things that he did that I never thought he would do was he changed up his putting. He's been a blade guy, and he had been, deemed one of the best putters on tour, even whenever he went, down the spiral per se a little bit, but switched to the arm lock, and now he uses a mallet. So I think that's very interesting. Justin Rose, top 12. Victor Hovland too, man. I mean, 73, 3 over par final round. He had a couple of putts early that were short, that if he just would have made those, the momentum would have shifted. So Bradley, I know you're a huge Victor Hovland fan. Let me hear your thoughts on Victor, kind of going forward after last week, the PGA, and then this week, where does he go from here?
Well, when you're down so much, you can only go up from here. I'm trying to be Mr. Optimistic, but I mean, Victor is just, maybe it's just this year, but he has just not been a Sunday player. He plays great Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then on the Lord's Day, maybe he's not a Christian, maybe he is, I don't know, but he just does not deliver on Sundays. We've seen it today. We saw it at the PGA Championship. We saw it at the Masters. I mean, I think he was leading the Masters at one point.
Yeah,
he finished.
I think he's been top 5 in the past 5 majors, or top 10 in the past 5 majors.
And but he's due. He's due. He's gonna figure it out. He's gonna play 4 solid rounds of golf at the U.S. Open on June 15th. Mark my words, not too early pick. But yeah, it's just been hard to watch. But also, I got some notes about Scotty Scheffler as well. I put down too little, too late for Scotty, because it's been 2 weeks in a row where Scotty has been he's been there coming on to Sunday, and then he'll get hot on Sunday, but it's just too little, too late. I mean, hell, excuse my language, but homeboy made a hole in one today. The shot of Sunday was from Scotty Scheffler. It's so tough to see him not putting well, because he's such a magnificent ball striker. I mean, even on that one dog dogleg right where he just completely banana sliced it on purpose. Beautiful drive. But he's gonna get his putting down. I mean, like Jacob said, he's number one in the world. Even though Brooks Koepka is the number one golfer in the world. But he's gonna figure it out. Also, that was it. Yeah, that was all my notes. You guys pretty much said what I was gonna say about Hall. Just giving me flashbacks from the Masters.
And it was one of them things where honestly, this tournament was kind of boring for the first 3 hours today. Up until I think Hall got on, like, probably made the turn. Now he was, I think, even par, maybe one over at the turn. I think but either way, it was just like, okay, he's steady right now, like he's holding on to that lead. Nobody could really make a putt. Nobody could really make a charge. Everybody was wanting Scotty Scheffler to do it. The announcers were wanting Scotty Scheffler to do it, and he just couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden, Emiliano bangs a 15-foot birdie putt on, I think it was his 17th hole or 16th hole, and I mean, he gave a fist bump. I mean, it was a big deal, and it was like, oh my God, we've waited 6 hours today watching this live coverage for something like this to happen, and here we are. And then from there, obviously, it kind of picked up, and the rest is history going to that playoff. But I mean, I honestly thought he gave it away. And Harry Hall did give it away. I thought he was way too conservative. He had a bunch of irons off the tee, which is fine if that's the game plan, but you need to be dialed on the greens if you're going to do that. You're going to be forced with some long birdie looks. You've got to be able to two-putt and get up and down for par. And he did that for the first 6, 7 holes.
Yeah. I mean, you got something to say, Jake? Sorry.
I was just going to say what you said about Scotty Scheffler. The announcer said today he just ran out of holes. But, I mean, if I'm being quite frankly honest with you, I mean, I don't think he ran out of holes. He had so many missed opportunities today that he could have hit, I mean, like after that hole in one, I feel like people were expecting him, all right, he just made a hole in one, we're going to get some good juju going. And then he had that on 10, I believe, he made a birdie, and then that got him to 8. And then he had a 4-footer on, I think it was 12, a 4-foot birdie putt that he missed. And I feel like that it kind of hurt the momentum real bad. I don't know if it was one on the back nine after he made that birdie that like he did, just took the wheels off of him. He couldn't then, feel like maybe his confidence when it went down, I don't want to speculate or anything because I don't know what was going through his head. But another thing, I don't know if y'all saw this, whenever Emiliano was warming up, trying to stay warm for the playoff, those two kids, he let him. I mean, that one kid pured an iron shot off of his iron down the first fairway. I mean, that was really cool as like a fan perspective, because we've been to one, kind of seeing it up close, and then just seeing that, I mean, and he's contending for a champion, like a Charles Schwab challenge, and he's letting kids hit some balls off the first tee. So that was really cool from a fan perspective. Well,
that kid was also left-handed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the announcer, but you could see his grip he had his left hand as his lead hand, and I'm like, are you gonna fix that? And then he just pures it. I'm like, well, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, that was super sweet. I mean, again, it's out of character nowadays. This guy's could have been thinking about and would have had any excuse in the bag, to not pay those kids a lick of attention. But, that kind of just speaks for his character, great guy, deserved to win. Yeah,
I agree. I agree that was an amazing moment. My fiance was a huge Emiliano fan after she saw that happen. And I think he won the hearts of quite a few family people that were watching. So that was an amazing moment for sure. And, it definitely shows that the players do care about the fans. And I definitely love to see that. So that's all I have. If you guys have anything else to add,
Can I say something about the PGA's got to do something about these announcers? Because when Shank was standing over his ball to win the Charles Schwab Challenge on 18, the announcer's sitting there talking about his hometown in his backswing, and it just, at least from a viewer standpoint, it just took away from that moment for me. Like, I wanted it to be quiet and, like I'm at the golf course.
See, I completely disagree. That's the thing about the announcers doing that, is it creates a moment. If he would have made that putt, that video would have been replayed, and it would have been the setup from the announcer. Putt goes in, everybody goes crazy. It happens at every tournament. I mean, you look at the Tiger Woods chip at the Masters. Furr was talking the whole time. It happens all the time. So I get what you're saying, and if Adam could hear him, it'd be different. But I personally didn't have a problem with it. I know you didn't like it.
I mean, it was. I'll be honest with you, I really don't care. I'm just trying to watch some golf. Like sometimes it'd be nice. Like who was it? It was Hall's par putt. I think he was hitting it, and the announcer was like, "Come on!" He was like, "Come on, go, roll some more." Like as he was rolling it, and he left it short. And it was like, part of me is like, I kind of like it. I kind of don't. Like you said, Freddie, you can't really hear them, so it's kind of not a thing. But that's kind of their job at the same time. No hate or disrespect to you, Bradley. Like you said, Freddie, he's kind of setting up the moment. For it.
It would be different if he's like, Shank's got this putt. He goes back. He hits it. It's rolling. He's talking about his hometown in Brentwood, wherever the heck he's from. You know what I mean? Like he's not really setting up that putt. He's just filling
him up for his first PGA Tour win. That's what he was doing.
I mean, I agree to disagree, but
I hear you. Well, fellas, if that's all we got, it's time to wrap this episode up. This has been another edition of the Fairway Files. This is the first podcast as far as the tournaments go. Plan to do these on all the elevated events and majors. Kind of give you a preview and a recap as we did here. So, fellas, I appreciate you joining me and taking time out of your Sunday night. I know we have Memorial Day tomorrow, so happy Memorial Day to everybody. So, see you guys in the next one.
Yes, sir.